Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Friday. It's Rapid Fire Friday once again, hosted by Annette Conrad. That would be me from Edible Impressions. So I want to just say good morning to everybody. I don't know about you, but I am so glad it's Friday. It was a really busy week. I was actually telling my mom last week that, next week is easy peasy. I'll be over at your apartment. I'll be able to spend some time with you, and oh my word, did it take a turn. So I did end up taking some last minute requests for graduation and some last minute requests for baby showers. So I just couldn't resist some really, really cute designs that I'll be posting in the next couple of days. But yeah, it turned out to be a pretty busy week. So, and next week and the week after looks to be pretty steady too. So thank you so much for your interest. And I just want to say good morning to everyone. If you're new to Rapid Fire Friday, very quickly, I come on every Friday at 10 o'clock Central, and no worries if you're not able to stay for the live, or if you missed the live, hello to the replay watchers. I always record my Rapid Fire Fridays and all of my free master classes that take place on Wednesday evenings at 6:30 Central. So I really do encourage you to go into the events tab of the community and take a look at some of the past experiences. So thank you so much for being here. I honestly created this Facebook community for me to share all things that I love about cookie decorating, and more really about how I transformed my hobby into essentially my family's livelihood. So it is possible to take your side gig, your hobby, specifically decorating cookies, to a business, to a profitable business. So I'm here living proof that it is possible. Yes, I've been doing this a long time, but I actually can help you to fast track if you'd like. So, another topic for another conversation. But so how Rapid Fire Friday works is I will take the next 10 to 15 minutes and answer 5 questions or wonderments or suggestions that I noticed from the past week, and bring them to you in rapid fire format. So it's in a question format or possibly a scenario format, and then I will give you my take on it. So lots of times it will be technique. It might be conversations I have with clients. It does vary from week to week. So it's always interesting to go back and watch the replays. Okay, you probably just heard the doorbell. We have a slew of pickups today, but I'm very happy and fortunate that I have my husband and business partner, Larry, who is manning the door here. So lots of graduation parties this weekend. So we are ready to go for those pickups. Okay, number 1, and after each question, I will ring the bell. Okay, so the first one, I appreciate any advice you can share. Trying to make black. And this person's getting really frustrated because they keep adding darker colors, but it looks brown or purple or blue, and it's not really developing into a black color. It's been sitting for 2 hours, and she's about to run out to the store to buy black. So it sounds like she's trying to create black from mixing colors together. So yeah, you're kind of in a pinch if you don't have black. It can be a little tricky, but honestly, it's pretty easy. What you want to do is, and this is what I do with all my extra colors that I have left over, if I have very little and I know I'm not going to use that color, I throw all those extra colors together. And yeah, it's going to make kind of a muddy color, but if you do have black color gel, all you need is a touch to darken it, to bring it to a black. But it sounds like this person doesn't have black. So what I would recommend is mixing, and they have the right start, blue, brown, and purple. But what you want to do is actually add a little bit of green and a little bit of red. So that will develop into a black. Now I do use America colors, and I don't have to let my colors sit. I find that interesting and fascinating. I don't know if it's just the brand that I'm using, but I'm not one to mix the colors and then let them sit overnight. I mean, some people were chiming in and they let their colors sit for 5 days. And I thought that is really interesting. It's not something that I do, not something that I find that I have to do. I'm careful on not oversaturating the color. And when I use black, I only use black for accents. I don't fill a large area with black. So typically it's just the detail work. And you don't often need a jet black. You can darken it. I actually use America Color has a color called Gunmetal, which is really, really beautiful. It starts off as a really beautiful shimmer to an ash. You add more and it will actually develop into kind of a black color. So lots of ways that you can make black. So, and the other thing is you really want to test, because yes, colors do darken as they dry. So if you have a dark black, but you're like, oh, it's not dark enough, be patient and actually take a little swatch of frosting on a piece of wax paper. It's almost like when you temper chocolate, you want to make sure that it cracks. You want to take a little sample, let it dry. In this case, same thing. Take a little sample on a wax piece of paper or parchment, let it dry so that you can see how much it's going to dark and develop. Okay, that was a long answer to the first question. I find that I'm so wordy sometimes, and I'm sorry about that. I used to be an event coordinator, for those of you that don't know me, 24 years in the industry. So I'm all about attention to detail. So sometimes my responses can get a little wordy, but hopefully it helps you. Okay, so here is one other scenario that came up. So this gal posted a picture and was asking if anyone had any experience using Isomalt. So shout out in the feed, if you've ever used Isomalt or if you even know what it is. A lot of people make assumption that Isomalt is sugar. It's actually not sugar. Isomalt is actually made from beets, believe it or not. It is a beautiful medium to work with, but I'll tell you, if you use it for large areas or large accents, it becomes super hard. I think it's more for decorations than for actual consumption. So it can actually crack your teeth. It's that hard. So when I use Isomalt, I use it for accents and decorations. And honestly, the only time I really used it is when I make gingerbread houses, again, for showcasing, not necessarily for eating, for making windows. So it's super, super cool. It comes in a couple different formats. You can buy it in powder. You can buy blocks that are already tempered where you just melt them. You pour that. It gets super, super hot. So you have to be careful not to burn yourself when you're working with it, but it dries and it hardens really within a matter of minutes. So you have to kind of work fast with it. So the picture she showed was absolutely stunning. I'll have to find the picture and I'll post it in the group. It was a beautiful wedding bridal set, and it had a square cookie and it looked like a ring box, and it had a beautiful shimmered ring base, and then it had a diamond on top, which was made from Isomalt. So you can actually purchase those ready-made, or you can make them with silicone molds. But the thing that I fear is that that cookie will be absolutely stunning and delicious, but boy, when that person goes to bite that Isomalt, they could crack it too. So I would make sure if you're going to do something, particularly with cookies, using Isomalt, I would definitely let people know that it's really more for decoration. Otherwise, they might be calling you with a chipped tooth. So just a little word for caution there. Yeah, so it is super hard on your teeth. It's more made for decoration than consumption. You can make them well ahead of time. And like I said, they really are pretty cool. You can store them long term, and they're not sticky. So that was the other thing, is she wanted to know if they were going to be sticky in the bag. And actually it's not. Once it dries, it is amazing. They're just, they really are kind of cool. So, okay. So, and there is an alternative. If you don't want to use Isomalt, you certainly can use sugar. So if you want to make something like Isomalt, it basically is a combination of sugar, water, and corn syrup. But I believe because the corn syrup is in there, you don't want to oversaturate it, and it does take time to dry a little bit longer. So it's just, you have to practice with that a little bit to know what the, ingredient measurements are for that. So there you go. Good morning. I'll say good morning to a few folks that are on. We've got Lee. Hello, Linda. Deborah, Kelly, thank you so much. Nancy and Jenny, thank you so much for being here live. It looks like there's a few more people. Post a comment in the feed just to say hello. Tell me where you're tuning in from. And hello to those that are watching the replay. So also type replay. Now, if you have any questions or want to go deeper on any of these topics, I do come in post Rapid Fire Friday and I answer any questions that you might have with these topics. So thank you. All right, on to the next one. Now, in the spirit of this past Wednesday's master class, it was so fun, and there were a lot of people that came on. It's, besides decorating cookies, my passion is events coordination. So I went on and I shared a little bit about how you can make meaningful and memorable in-person classes. This is take 1. July 6th, I will be back for take 2, which I'm specifically going to be talking about virtual experiences. And it was really, really interesting. And a lot of golden nuggets in there. If you are teaching classes or pondering teaching classes, I encourage you to go watch that free masterclass. If you're ever looking for any past episodes, go under the events tab and you can find them there. So this question is related to classes. Good morning. The question for you guys, I'm doing a glamping theme for an upcoming cookie class. And so there were a variety of designs, like a fire with logs, there were s'mores, there were, it looked like she would have needed a variety of colors to really make that set pop. But you have to understand when you're doing classes, first of all, you don't need to have every color under the sun, first of all, with the frostings. I do limit them depending on the designs. I actually specifically pick designs that you only need a couple of colors, but you can always bring in other colors through your sprinkles, or you can also color your sugar, which allows you to bring in additional colors. So if you have the need for a lot of colors, just make sure that you give white as one of the colors, or a soft ivory, because then when you take that colored sugar, you can sprinkle it over those areas of that design. And then you've got additional colors really at a minimal cost and a lot less labor. And did you know you can make colored sugar? You do not have to buy pre-made colored sugar. A little dab of your color gel in some granulated sugar. Be sure to wear a little glove, but you want to mix that in really nicely, lay it out on a bakery tray and let that dry, and bam, you've got your color sugar. So no need to be searching and searching for all those color sugars. You can actually just make it. So, and it's a lot more economical. Okay, so that was my suggestion for that one. And here's the thing. If you are going to bring in sprinkles and or transfers, which is this Wednesday coming up, Masterclass How to Make Creative Transfers, that is a great add-on for your cookie classes. Again, a way that you can bring in additional colors. It's great for beginners because then they feel like, wow, look at my cookie design, it just pops. So if they're beginning and they've never outlined and flooded before and they're like, oh, it doesn't look as good, boy, when you give them those royal icing transfers and they drop them in for that final presentation, it really makes gives that wow factor. So, but my point is, you always want to make sure, if any of your add-ons in your cookie kits, you make sure you add the ingredient labels for all of those, including your sprinkles. They really should be itemized on your ingredient label. Okay, taking a breath here for just a moment. If you haven't noticed, I do talk very quickly. I think that was probably being in the industry of events coordination for so many years. I think it's probably ingrained in me when I was born, but I do talk fast. So if you need to, please watch the replay. And I think you also can slow me down a little bit. I actually have some podcasts that I listen to that I'm not a fan of slow talkers. So I'm one of those guilty folks that speeds up those podcasts to have them speak a little faster. So hopefully you're hanging in there with me. Okay, and speaking of podcasts, what a great segue. Didn't even plan on this, but let's talk podcasts for a moment. I would love for you to share in the feed your favorite business podcast and your favorite podcast that you listen to for fun. Now, I love podcasts. I mean, if I'm not watching, I'm listening. Sometimes I'm watching and listening. And I have a love for all things business. And so I do gravitate towards business and interesting, full facts and documentaries and biographies and things like that. Not that I don't enjoy the fictional, but I do like the I'm kind of a sponge. I like to just learn something each and every day. So I do have a couple of my favorite podcasts that I will share. I really like Lead to Win and TIG Talks. I will put the links in the feed. I also like For Fun. I do have some that I listen to for fun, but again, they're more informational. And it's called Planet Money, which is really interesting. I do like Radio Cherry Bomb is also really interesting. It's all women entrepreneurs, but they have a variety of topics, so that's really good. And then The Crumb, which is a baking podcast, which I really do. I don't have time to bake a lot of other things, so it kind of fills my need. I actually subscribe to the Bake from Scratch magazine, and I tell you, in each and every magazine, there are literally hundreds of recipes, but I love to listen to the editor and the producer of that magazine because you get a lot of behind the scenes information. And so that one's a really good one. It's called The Crumb. So look those up on your favorite podcast channels. But yeah, go ahead and please share if you have any that you really do like. I would love to hear what you're listening to. All right. I know I'm going over time again. At least I'm consistent, right? But the last one I just wanted to mention was that I have had the opportunity to be on a couple of podcasts. So if you are new to this community and you're wondering, who is this lady and why is she telling us all this stuff? If you want to get to know me a little bit more personally, there are two episodes that you can listen to. I was honored to be on the Volrath feed, And that was episode 39. And then I was also on the experiential table. And I'll tell you, both those opportunities, they didn't just call me. I kind of established a relationship with both of those networks. And just by conversation, and just one of them was actually my client, and just in, networking and establishing a relationship, those opportunities came up. And so the experiential table, I talked about how I transform my cookie hobby to a business. And then the one on the Volrath feed actually is really good because the direction that we took with that one is not only do I have a hobby that I transformed into a business, but I talked a lot about how I made it profitable. Okay, so those are really two good ones to listen to. I do pull in some of that content into some of my free masterclasses, but if you want to get a little bit more of my background personally, feel free. And both those are really good podcasts that I do listen to on a regular basis. So the experiential table is a lot about online culinary. So if you are interested in doing virtual experiences and really building up your business, she's a great resource for that. Excellent resource. She's got a great program as well. So I do, Cynthia from Samania from Hidden Rhythm runs that podcast. So really, really fun. Oh, there's the bell. So that was 5 questions, scenarios, and wonderments for the week. So thank you so much for listening. If you have others that you think might enjoy being part of this community, please share with them. Everybody's welcome. Even if you're not interested in transforming your hobby into a business, I think we're just having a great time here in the community. We share techniques. We share cookie designs. I'm always looking for your suggestions, and we just have a really good time. So stay tuned. Always check the events tab. The next one this Wednesday, Sylvia and I, one of my seasoned decorators and sister, my dear sister, will be back with me on Wednesday. We are going to be making royal icing transfers, and I'm really excited because I have a surprise. I'm going to be able to be giving out a couple of free transfer templates, and I want to show you how I made them, but I also want to share with you how you can grab some of those as well. So I will also put out a supply list, so if you would like to decorate along with me, so stay tuned. I will be posting that over the weekend in preparation for Wednesday's masterclass. So thank you so much, everyone. Thanks again for those that are watching live. And I appreciate anyone watching the replay. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. Bye-bye.